Hello race fans and welcome to a brand new series on Team Motorsports. This is the classic race club, because if you can have film club, why can't you have race club? I mean, films are all scripted and boring and stuff. Wait, no, I can't make that joke at all. I watch WWE Raw every week. This is a brand new show which takes a look at the finest and the best of the old school of motor racing. This is the classics from the past and some from the present, because you know, nostalgia isn't all it's cracked up to be, but mostly from the past, and mostly from the big trio here on the home of Anglo-American racing on YouTube, which is NASCAR, of course you guessed that already, also some hometown pride in the British Touring Car Championship, because damn it, some of the racing in that series over the last, since its inception basically, has been some of the best racing anywhere on the planet. And of course we've got to pay homage to our guys down under, our mates down there with the Aussie V8 Supercar Championship. They've also put on some absolute belters, and you'll be seeing them right here on this show. But first up, we're going to start with a race that's very special to me. You may have read the title and thought, what's so significant about that race? What happened in it? Well, you're about to find out exactly what happened, and you're going to find out exactly why it's significant to me, because this race that you're about to see was the first ever NASCAR race I ever watched. So, make sure all mobile devices are switched off, or at least on silent. Grab some popcorn and a beverage of your choice, and let's bring some old school noise.
Green flag.
So let me set the scene for you. It's 2001, I'm 9 years old, and I'm living a carefree life with Crash Bandicoot games, Pokemon cards, Beyblades, some British Touring Car Championship racing, and some Formula 1 on the weekends, and loving the greatest band of all time, S Club 7. Now, little did I know that one day, a tape-delayed highlights broadcast on Eurosport of American men driving around a giant velodrome very fast for 500 miles would change my life and make motorsport go from being that funny thing I watched occasionally between Dragon Ball Z reruns on the weekend to what most of my entire life has been about ever since. This was NASCAR, and the race I'd stumbled across was the 2001 Food City 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway. As races you accidentally wander into, I'd picked a really good one. It was early in a season that was still mourning the demise of probably its biggest ever star in Dale Earnhardt, but was in the middle of a boom period for the sport overall, where downforce was non-existent, the racing was excellent, and the grandstands were rammed week after week after week. Do you think these factors are connected somehow? Amusingly, the highlights I watched that day had current Formula 1 commentator Ben Edwards doing dubbed commentary for it, as if us Brits just couldn't understand an American accent. Although considering most Americans can't understand what Darrell Waltrip's on about half the time, I can kind of see their point. So pull up your comfy chair, pull over that beverage of your choice, and let's lock into the race that made me not a good guy, not a bad guy, but a British NASCAR guy. So let's start with the starting grid. Sounds like a good place to start, don't you think? And it's amazing to me how people can get so nostalgic over graphics and music for a TV production. This was Fox Sports' first year doing NASCAR into their current deal that they're still running now, and I mean, everyone creamed themselves when they brought back their original NASCAR and Fox music this year. I want them to bring back the grid music. Am I the only one nostalgic over this? Here's the front row with the pole sitter, some guy called Mark Martin. You know, that guy who randomly finished a race one lap early and then was never heard of again. You know, that guy. Fun fact as well, Sterling Marlin was my dad's old favourite. Guys to watch out for on this grid are the dads. It's been that long since this race that two guys in this current field now have sons racing in the current NASCAR Sprint Cup. Those guys are Dave Blaney, they're in the 93 Dodge, obviously father of Ryan, currently at the Wood Brothers. And there's Bill Elliott on the outside of row 6, obviously the father of Chase Elliott now, who seems to have inherited his father's absolutely epically cheesy good looks. It's just a thing. No wonder that guy won Most Popular Driver so many times he actually broke the voting system. There's Dale Jarrett, the point leader, coming into this race. Another fun thing to watch in this grid. Look at Jerry Nadeau there. Look at the amount of guys screwing around with their facial ident here. Some of these guys had real fun filming their bits. And another thing, Matt Kenseth just reminded me, how many of these guys do you think are still full-time now? Well, I've gone through and counted. It's 6 of them. Only 6 of these guys are still full-time in NASCAR now. Those guys are, of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, both of which we've seen already, Kevin Harvick as well, Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, and Elliott Sadler. This race was only 15 years ago. It doesn't feel that old. Remember what I was talking about with guys screwing around with their facial idents? Watch Mike Wallace. He just decides to troll the cameraman during his one. Which, to be honest with you, it's probably about as much as we're going to see of him in today's broadcast, so you may as well take advantage of it while you can, really. Oh, sorry about that, Mike. That was a bit unnecessary. Here we go. Let's get ready to run. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go. Wait a minute. There's no boogities. What's going on? Something's gone very wrong. In fact, this was so early in the current NASCAR on Fox deal that Darrell Waltrip hadn't brought over the boogity, boogity, boogities, which was the thing that his spotter used to shout to him instead of green, green, green when he was a driver. A little bit of an interesting fact for you that you probably didn't care about at all. And we have our first caution of the race. It's Jerry Nadeau into the turn 3 wall. Yeah, if anyone tells you old Bristol is attritional as all hell, this proves it. This is our first caution after 4 laps. It will be what would become a staple of NASCAR and Fox's coverage. Everybody shut up. It's the Crank It Up.
Jeremy Mayfield said of racing at Bristol, it's like riding around in a clothes dryer for 3.5 hours, and by the time you're done, somebody's lost a sock or two.
That's a pretty fair description of old Bristol, I'd say. And there's our second caution. There's that Jeff Burton. No! No, Jeff! Don't hit him. No, we're good. We're fine. And it turns out the culprit for Robert Presley's spin was Johnny Benson. Obviously not an Elvis fan. The wrong Presley, Johnny. What you on about? And we go back green, and then 2 laps after the restart, we got another wreck. That's 3 cars, 3 single car wrecks in turn 3 in under, what is that, 30 laps? That's ridiculous. Andy Houston this time turned around. My only memory of this guy in Sprint Cup racing is he got wrecked at Richmond and then he threw his helmet at someone. That's literally it. In this case, he gets dumped by Mike Skinner. Well, Mike Skinner has the RCR number 3 on his car, admittedly with a 1 after it, but hey, Mike Skinner, the real intimidator all along, who knows? Channeling the spirit of the late Dale Earnhardt. Yeah, that's a plow right there.
The thing you can do is in the morning, leave your feelings outside and pick them up when you leave here, because if you don't, you're probably going to get them hurt. Oh, yeah.
Life advice with Larry Mack. Remember before I was talking about guys who are still active in Sprint Cup Series racing now? Here's 2 of them in the same shot. Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And here's another one. Oh, he's crashing. Oh, that's not good. That's Kurt Busch kind of crashed. Very crashed there. Still, at least he was probably calm about it on the radio. Now watch these for pit stops. Look at what was considered fast pit stops back in 2001. High 15s, low 16-second pit stops. Well, I mean, it's still considered fast for Kevin Harvick now, but that's not the point, really, is it? We have one of our first lead changes of the race as Sterling Marlin inherits the lead. Kevin Harvick had to pit twice under the previous caution due to a brief incident on pit road. So, somewhere my dad was presumably cheering at this point because his favourite was out front. Even though I'm fairly convinced that he only liked Sterling Marlin because he had a cool-looking car. I mean, look at it. It is a very cool-looking car. And there's caution 5 in under 100 laps. And the M&Ms are angry. We feel the rage of the M&Ms. Look at that. That is an angry M&M. And on the replay... No! Surely not! The babyface fan favourite Dale Earnhardt Jr. turned him round. Surely not. Well, having said that, this is 2001, so Stone Cold Steve Austin was in the middle of a crap heel turn, so maybe Dale Jr. decided, you know what, I'll give it a go as well. Luckily, by the July Daytona race, he turned full babyface again and has pretty much stayed that way ever since. Oh, well, except for the odd turn. We then ended up going green for nearly 60 laps. What on earth's going on? This isn't 2008 Spec Bristol. Oh no, wait, never mind, there we go. It's only a matter of time, that's Brett Bodine. In the middle of everyone. Brett Bodine cruises away, rather beaten up, and with a large brown stain on his pants, having looked out of his driver's side window and seen the entire field driving very fast at him. So once again, we play Who Spun It, and this time it's Ricky Craven, giving Brett Bodine a lesson in driver code there. That code obviously being in Braille. Here we go, we have another battle for the lead off the restart. It's John Andretti now on the inside of Sterling Marlin. 2 Dodges scrapping away. This was Dodge's first season back in NASCAR, having been away since the end of the 1970s. And this is a good scrap. Sterling Marlin tries to hang on the outside. Very tough thing to do at Bristol. He tries, but he is unable to do so. And John Andretti takes the lead. Meanwhile, Ricky Rudd is as puzzled as the rest of us to see Todd Bodine running in the top 5. No, he is actually on the lead lap and you are actually fighting him for position, Ricky. We also have this moment back in the field where Dave Blaney decides to take it 3 wide at Old Bristol Are you mad, man? We have another lead change. Jeff Gordon around the outside of John Andretti for the lead. Somewhere in the grandstands, Bruton Smith sits there and goes, an outside groove at Bristol. What an interesting concept. Well, then we go green for another decent stretch of time until caution number 7 comes out, and well, you'll see who causes the caution. It's Jeff. It's Jeff. And he wipes out his teammate for good. It just can't get any worse, can it? Fun fact, this basically began 12 years of being a Jeff Burton fan. It was often disappointing. It was sometimes euphoric, like Dover 2006. And I've got to say, it was always proud. I make no bones about it. I was a Jeff Burton fan growing up in NASCAR, and I was right until his retirement in 2013. And the way I became a fan of his, I found a Hot Wheels car from 1998 of his pink and black X-Side batteries car. They sold the entire line of 1998 Hot Wheels NASCAR Winston Cup cars in my local discount city, like pound store. And I found that one, and I was like, who is this guy driving this spectacular looking car? It turned out to be Jeff Burton, and he went on to be my favourite driver for the rest of the time I watched. And ironically, that late 90s period was probably the best period of his entire career. But I did manage to catch his awesome run in 2006 where he nearly finally got a championship under his belt. But hey, didn't work out in the end. And he makes a great commentator now. He makes a great analyst on NBC now, so it's great to still hear from him. Also, the video game Grand Theft Auto 3 was released in 2001, and Mike Wallace must have been playing it a lot coming into this race. Look at that! That's got to be a 2-star wanted level right there, surely. Get that lead change klaxon ready. We've got another one. Steve Park moves to the inside of Jeff Gordon at lap 297 and takes the lead for the first time in the bright yellow DEI Chevrolet. And caution number 8 comes out for... Wait, it's a debris yellow? What? No, hang on a minute. No. Apparently debris yellow is a modern thing for NASCAR to rig their races. What's going on here? Wait, no, they're showing the debris? Oh, well, that changes everything. And to be fair, that is a fairly decent bit of debris, I suppose. We'll give them that one, shall we? As they get back underway, it was John Andretti that led off a pit road, but Sterling Marlin quickly returns to the lead. But then here comes Andretti right back. Look at this. This is a great battle. These two Dodges can't stay away from each other today, can they? Excellent stuff. Inevitably, considering all the traffic jams we're having, we have our 9th caution of the day at lap 348. And it involves Mike Wallace and Todd Bodine, whose great run for the day continues to the end. Now, if anyone tells you that the old race back to the caution rule was great, look at this. There's guys cutting the racetrack, driving at full speed past crashed cars to get their lap back. Yeah, you know what, in hindsight, I think the Lucky Dog rule's not so bad, don't you?
Hey, DJ, this is DW up in the booth. Bud, you got a copy?
No, sod off. And we have caution 10. And we have no idea where it is. There it is. There it is, and it's Jerry Nadeau, who's already had a rough afternoon. He just decided to spin because why not? What else is he going to do with his day? He's about 30 laps down as it is. He may as well have a play. And nearly all of the leaders pitted under this round of pit stops, under this caution, except for Kevin Harvick, who is pulling what would come to be known in 2016 as the great Landon Castle Bristol strategy of staying out and not taking tyres at all. Let's see if it works. It worked for a little bit for Castle. See if it works for Harvick. We go back green for not for very long. 4 cars stacking up on the back straightaway. Not quite Dover levels of big wreck, but big enough. Let's be real. Into the final 100 laps and the chase for the... No, not that chase, Brian France, but the chase between those with fresh tyres, including John Andretti and Jeff Gordon, and the no-rubber crew up front of Kevin Harvick, Elliott Sadler, Jeremy Mayfield, Ward Burton and Tony Stewart, is on. Just don't try and dwell too much on the term no-rubber crew. I said don't. Oh look, it's the battle between future ESPN colour commentators, Dale Jarrett and Rusty Wallace. This'll be fun. Although presumably Rusty Wallace is going to suffer very badly with an aero-loose car. Caution number 12 happens when a rogue brake rotor escapes from its car and decides to burn itself on the track, like that monk on the Rage Against the Machine album cover. Oh no, wait, that brake rotor actually did come from a crashing car. And the car in question was Buckshot Jones, who gets completely dumped off of turn 2 by Jimmy Spencer. Presumably Spencer warming up for his heated feud with Kurt Busch the following year. Fun fact, I also have a random poster of Buckshot Jones' 2001 car somewhere. It was sent over by a friend of my uncle from America. I had no idea who he was as a driver, never particularly supported him, but I like the poster anyway. It looked cool, and it's a bit of a novelty item. And incidentally, if anyone knows what Buckshot Jones is doing now, please let me know, because I'm very curious. So we go green again, and how much longer will the old tyres on those front 5 hold up? Actually, not much longer at all in Kevin Harvick's case. He slows, He has a flat tyre and he's on pit road. It's all over for him. The Landon Castle strategy didn't work. But will it work for the other 4 still up front? So it's now Elliott Sadler up front in the Wood Brothers 21, the guy who started 38th in this race. This is after NASCAR and Fox have told you that 10 of the 80 races held at Bristol have been won by a guy starting outside the top 10. Meanwhile, we have caution number 12 coming out at lap 423 as Ricky Coven driver codes the F out of Todd Bodine, who's already had a bit of a battering today. Come on, Ricky, leave him alone. Yeah, remember when Todd Bodine was running up front? Yeah, that seems like a long time ago already. Probably felt like an eternity ago for him. Away they go on the restart, and Kevin Harvick, who's still a lap down, thinks he's racing for the lead. No, not now, Kevin. Don't be doing this. No, you're not actually... Someone needs to tell him he's not racing for the lead. He's not. Kevin, can you calm the F down, please? Can you not? Otherwise, you'll get featured in a NASCAR Nixon video about lap cars wrecking leaders. Into the final 50 laps, and look who the top 2 are. It's the Wood Brothers number 21 and Richard Petty's number 43. Wait a minute. This was 14 years before the Southern 500 adopted the throwback theme. Is this when they got the idea? Because this is a throwback. It's been a while since we've seen these 2 battling up front. And it'll be a while after that we'd see the 2 of them up front again. But despite Mayfield and Andretti really piling the pressure on Elliott Sadler, he's actually starting to open up a lead on 150 lap old tyres. What is this sorcery? What? This doesn't make any sense. That's presumably exactly what John Andretti was screaming out of his front windshield right now. Just staring at the back bumper of the 21 going, please, please, tyres, give up. You've run almost a quarter of the race, for God's sake. Please. But alas, the tyres, amazingly, would last to the flag. And Elliott Sadler would take his first ever NASCAR Winston Cup win and take a win for the Wood Brothers, whilst behind him, Tony Stewart gets dumped the F into the turn 3 wall by Jeff Gordon, out of nowhere. Because hey, if you can't have a fight over the win, why not have a fight for 4th place instead? And Tony Stewart decides to repay him, ramming him on pit road. As you do. Very NASCAR. Well done, Tony. That's just funny. I love it when NASCAR drivers do that. It's just like kids. Like, yeah, you spin me, I'll spin you. I'll ram you. Isn't this what you do at the end of an iRacing race when someone's wrecked you? Yeah, I'll spin you in the pits. Yeah, screw you. Here's the final result for you. Elliott Sadler takes his first career win and a first win for the Wood Brothers since 1993, ahead of John Andretti, Jeremy Mayfield, Jeff Gordon, Ward Burton, Terry Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Bobby Hamilton, Steve Park, and Ricky Rudd. The other notables going down through the order: Stacey Compton, 11th. He was a lap down with 50 laps to go. That's quite incredible. Sterling Marlin, early lead at 12th. Kevin LePage sneaks into the top 15. Dale Jarrett finishes 16th but retains the point lead despite that. Our dad watch sees Bill Elliott home in 17th and Dave Blaney wrecked out earlier. Kevin Harvick ended up 24th after that flat tyre. Tony Stewart 25th after that late shenanigans with Jeff Gordon. Johnny Benson, who did strongly early on, 26th ultimately. And then down the back, Dave Blaney 29th. So the battle of the dads conclusively won by Bill Elliott. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 31st. Mark Martin 34th. And Jeff Burton was 40th out of 40. Okay, you can stop laughing at the back now. It's time to end this first ever episode of the Classic Race Club on Team Motorsports. This has been our look at the 2001 NASCAR Food City 500, the race that made me a NASCAR fan for life. I said for life, or something along those lines. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Destroy the like button down there like Jeff Gordon destroyed Tony Stewart on the last lap. Comment below and let me know which races you want to see reviewed in this way in the future. And continue to bring the noise. Now, forever, and always. I'll see you next time, race fans.